Hi, I'm Bill Donohue, President of the Catholic League. Mike McDonald here. He's the Director of Communications. I want to talk today, Mike, about the idea that some people say that all religions are pretty much the same. They're not. They're not the same. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't disrespect people who are not a member of our religion, but the idea that they're all pretty much the same is simply a myth. And I want to make a difference here between Christianity and Islam. It's in the news today. I love the work that Alliance Defending Freedom does, and they do it internationally too. It's a great group. And they're defending this one woman. They're doing it successfully. I won't get into all the nitty-gritty on that because my point is a little bit different. There's a situation in Nigeria. You should know, Nigeria is one of the most violent places on earth for Christians to live. The Christians are mostly in the south. The Muslims are in the north. The Christians do not bother the Muslims by rule, but by rule, the Muslims bother the Christians. When I say bother, they like to kill them, particularly if you convert from Islam to Christianity. That's what this 22-year-old girl decided to do after her own people decided, we're going to tell you who to marry. She didn't want to marry that person, and they went after her. But then she converted to Christianity. A Christian family helped her out, and then they beat her. When I say they, I mean her family members. I mean her siblings. I'm not talking about the police. All right? Now, why would you beat somebody of your own religion, of your own family, simply because you decided to adopt another religion? There's something really sick going on here. And the apologists will say, well, that's because they're a very tightly knit community. Well, the Amish are a very tightly knit community. All right? But they don't go around killing people and beating people because you convert from Christianity. Maybe it's because they are Christians. And to do so, that would violate Christian tenets. Right. Unfortunately, for many Muslims, I'm not saying all, but for too many, if in fact you engage in violence against people, even in your own family, for converting, many see that as justified. Some will say you're affirming Islamic law, which is Sharia law. This is very disturbing.
Yeah. Well, Bill, we just did a report not too long ago on the Christians in Uganda. And it was back in April. There was a grown adult man. He converted to, he wasn't a Muslim. He converted to Christianity. His brother cut his hand off. And they asked the father, he was like, well, that's what we're supposed to do according to Sharia law. It's unfortunate that happens, is like you mentioned, right? You can look at the Amish, very tight-knit community. Sure,
they'll excommunicate you. Right. They'll shun you.
Which, okay, that's their house rules. That's how you guys want to play it. They're not going to cut your hand off. They're not going to beat you. They're not. And in that Uganda report, I would venture a guess and say about 90% of the cases that we looked at involved something like that, where it was a person converted from Islam to Christianity and were attacked by their own family members.
You see, look, people might say, well, you have violent people within the Christian religion. Certainly do. You have real nutcases. But the question is, we're talking about here, this is not an anomaly. It's commonplace in Muslim-run majority nations for people to be punished severely, including violence, for converting from Islam to Christianity or to some other religion. Now, I even asked AI, which is very sympathetic to Islam, by the way. It's very much left tilt there. Can you give me examples where Catholics, for example, go out and commit violence, acts of violence against their own because they decided to move from Catholicism to some other religion? Even AI couldn't generate anything.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about an anomaly here. We're talking about something which is deeply baked into at least the radical interpretation of Islam.
Right.
So the idea that all religions are equal, that doesn't simply wash.
No. Well, it's like you said, Bill, for a Christian to become violent, they have to go against the teachings of Christianity. And I think that's something important that everyone needs to keep in mind.
Right. Other religions, you may have to affirm it in order to, or you are affirming it if you go that way. So, listen, the bottom line is we should respect other religions, but people within those religions need to practice tolerance toward those people in their own ranks who decided to convert and not engage in violence. I hope this message gets through. Thanks.